You don't actually need anything in life to be happy.
We get so obsessed with how our lives should look like. Today, a month from now, or even a year from now, that we completely miss the beauty that is already right in front of us. We get caught up in our minds, things we wish we said, things we want to say but won't. We get anxious in the idea of time passing, time running out, and that there isn't enough hours, enough money, enough acceptance. The self-help world that glorifies productivity, glowing up, and before and after transformations doesn't actually help us. It makes us believe that we need our lives to be infinitely better in order to be satisfied with the present. Those who have experienced this hunger and seeking of things outside of us, know that all it does is lead to suffering. I believe in Stoicism, that nothing is good or bad in life. It's just preferable or unpreferable. Freeing yourself is letting every situation be as it is, instead of what you think it needs to be. Making the best of what you have in your present moment reality, given the circumstances. My philosophy is non-attachment. I think that people care way too much about things that are really not that important. I think people care too much about outcomes. But what I've learned is that if you're going to chase something and feel desperate for it while trying to get it, you will never feel satisfied when you actually get it. What you feel in the middle of the journey is what you will feel at the finish line. And if you're always thirsty for something, eventually you'll just feel that thirst again.
We are in the world, but not of the world. You can have the gorgeous apartment without being attached to the gorgeous apartment. You can have a wonderful husband, wife, life partner without being attached to them and needing them to give you personal happiness and fulfillment in your life. You can just enjoy them and appreciate them and not be attached to them. Sure, you can want things, you can have desires, you can have dreams. That's what makes us human and alive. But you don't need the thing to be happy, because your emotional wellness comes from within. That is how I have liberated myself from anxiety, from fear, because I have realized that suffering only comes when you're attached to things. This is a very Buddhist idea. But it's one of my core foundational beliefs that I have about life, is that suffering stems from attachment. And when you let go of emoting based on circumstance, that's when you're truly free. You no longer need to have the outcome or the result to feel joy, because you already feel good now. Because as with all things in life, things come and they go. That is the natural wave of life, remaining flexible and open to the changing seasons of life that is always inevitable. And when you can enjoy it and appreciate those things when they come into your life, and then be just as happy when they leave because you're not attached to it, that's when that suffering is gone.
In moments when my mind feels like it's on overdrive, there is one thing I do that removes the heaviness of thought weighing down on me. One thing that has always helped me feel lighter. My body. I put my attention back to my senses. My complete and total focus on the feeling of touch, the feeling of my feet firmly planted on the ground, the sensation of my fingertips, my heartbeat in my chest, steadying my breath, breathing deeply, a blade of grass, the soft petals of a flower, the grains of sand in my palm, that I'm soon back in my body, bringing back that awareness to my senses, to the present moment. That sensation of just being in my body is just one of the ways that I live slowly when I get lost and my mind distracted.
I have systems in place. I have structure and discipline in my life that keeps me accountable and keeps me on track even when my emotions rise up and seem to overtake me. These are simple things, you know. I love to-do lists. I love planners. I love creating actionable plans in my life because for me, that is something that I can control. I can control my emotions. I can control my thoughts. I can control my beliefs, and I can control the daily tasks and actions that I do every single day. And so when I hold myself accountable to those things, when I have the discipline and the follow through to steadily and consistently do those things every day to help me feel good, then if something outside of my control in life comes in and it's not preferable, I am able to stay so aligned with myself.
The only way to free yourself is to stop caring about the future and the past. To be so fully here in the now that there are no distractions in the mind. By being in your body, connecting with your senses, and grounding yourself in the moment, whether that's with nature, or the water, or dancing to music. There are so many ways to stay fully connected to the here and now.
When I feel distracted and lost and overwhelmed, I also become a watcher of my mind. This is something that I learned from one of my favorite books of all time, The Untethered Soul. I really recommend anyone and everyone who watches this read it. I will include a link down in the description, but it is by watching the thoughts, observing the mind, observing the dialogue and the thoughts and the fears without being attached to them, without being part of them, without being in them. That is when you take your power back. That is when fears and negative thoughts go away over time. So when I'm doing my chores or I'm working on something and a thought comes up or a negative fear crops up into my mind, right? I watch the thought and I just let it be there. And I sit there with compassion and with empathy for that thought because the thought is not me. I am not my thought. I am not my mind. I am a soul. Watching the mind. And when you can sit there as a soul and look at your thoughts, that's when you take your power back. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. It really helps to support my channel and to help more people see this kind of content and these videos if they're looking for it online. And also tell me in the comments down below, what are some of the things that you do in your life when you feel lost and distracted and overwhelmed? What are some ways that you combat that? These are just some of the things that I do in my life that have really helped, but I'd love to hear you, and if you have anything to share with the kindred spirits and community that we have here on Simple Joys, feel free to leave a comment down below, and I'm excited to see you guys connect with each other. I am sending you such a big hug, plenty of Simple Joys, and I hope you have a magical week. I will see you next week here on the Simple Joys. Bye!